Hey everybody, this is Will. Let me make sure I got my audio going here. Yeah, my name is Will Blesch, and I am the author of the forthcoming book, All Eyes on Me, Explosive Secrets of Online Traffic Generation. And today is my third day of going live on Facebook every day, every weekday, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, Isaac. I see that you are watching. Okay, so the topic for today that I want to talk about has to do with one of the myths about lead generation. And I want to talk about, again, like I did yesterday, some emotions that many entrepreneurs feel when they're first starting out. Actually, it doesn't even have to be when you're first starting out. It can happen pretty much at any point along the journey. And what I'm talking about is fear. And in just a little bit, I'm going to tie together how fear actually plays into this myth concerning lead generation. Hello, Neil and Sandra, welcome. Going back to the idea of fear, there are a lot of reasons that potential entrepreneurs are afraid to get into business, okay? A lot of those fears are financial fears. They're afraid of leaving their full-time, 9 to 5, because that salary that they have, that's a monthly thing or a bi-weekly thing, and it's consistent. And when you're starting your own business, there can be really bad cash flow problems. There can be problems in bringing in revenue. Maybe you haven't raised enough capital for your business, etc. And you got all these money worries. And when you don't have that consistent income, well, maybe you have student loans you got to pay back. Maybe you have child support you need to pay or alimony. Maybe you have to take care of, elderly parents. There's a whole slew of reasons. Maybe you haven't saved anything, So there's a lot of financial reasons that people can be afraid to get into business as an entrepreneur. What are some other reasons people are afraid? That I know. I know people who are freelancers, for example, and they are afraid that their next client is going to be a terrible client. And what do I mean by a terrible client? Maybe these clients are cheap. They don't want to pay the going rate. They're looking to scrape the bottom of the barrel, and you can't live like that. Maybe they are people who don't pay on time, or they just kind of ghost after the fact. They hire you, you do the work, and then they don't pay at all. So there's a lot of issues there that freelancers can be afraid of when they're starting their own businesses. Another thing that people can be afraid of is actually talking to other people. Like for myself, for example, it took me a really, really long time to be able to sit down and talk to another person face to face. I was extremely introverted growing up. My best friends were books. And when I was in school, I was like the geeky kid that got picked on in English class, because I was done with work way before everybody else. And, as soon as we're out in the hallway, they're like, throwing spit wads at me because, or asking me to do their homework for them. And I was socially really awkward until probably until I went to the university, and then somehow I came out of my shell. But there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who are scared to death to talk to another person. And as an entrepreneur, if you're too scared to interact with other individuals who might be able to give you money as an investment, that's a big problem, right? Another way, extroverts actually can be afraid of being an entrepreneur for actually the exact opposite reasons. Maybe they talk too much and they don't know when to shut up and listen. There's fear really plays a big factor in being an entrepreneur for a lot of people. But there is something that I've learned, and that I think a lot of successful entrepreneurs have learned, and that is that if you are afraid that every day when you get in the car, you're going to get into a horrific automobile accident, you're never going to get behind the wheel and drive. And the same holds true if you understand the metaphor for business. If you're too afraid to get behind the wheel and start your business, then all of those dreams are just going to remain that. They're just going to remain dreams. You're still going to be stuck in a 9-to-5, and you are never going to move forward towards the financial freedom that could be yours as an entrepreneur. You're always going to be working for someone else, and maybe that's something that you dread, that you hate. So you have to find a way to conquer that fear. Now, how does that play into some of the lead generation myths? Jihan or Yehan, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for watching. And Brandy, nice to see you. What was I saying? Talking about fear and how it plays into one of the lead generation myths, right? That lead generation myth is that social media is a terrible place to find leads. It's totally ineffective. But that's a complete myth, all right? People are scared to death of social media because they just don't know enough about it. There are some statistics actually that I wrote down that I want to relate to you all. And this comes from a study that was done by Pinpoint Market Research, where it says that 64% of business-to-business or B2B marketers generate some kind of leads through LinkedIn.com. 49% generate leads through Facebook, and 36% through Twitter. So people definitely are, are definitely using social media effectively for lead generation. Now, one of the things that I would like to say about that, it's not just, businesses across the board think that social media might be ineffective because they don't know where their target audience, the people who want what they have to sell, whether that's a service or a product, they don't know which social media platform is best to find their target audience. They don't know where their target audience is hanging out, right? So let me give you an example of that. The other day on one of the other Facebook Live broadcasts I did, I was talking about a gentleman who came into my Facebook group, the Entrepreneur Success Factor, and his business had to do with hemp products and cannabis-related products, and he was busy dropping links in different groups and private messaging people, totally cold, and just trying to generate some business that way. And one of the things that, how does this relate? Well, he didn't know where the people who were interested in what he had to sell were actually hanging out. And more than that, he didn't know the rules for the different social media platforms. For example, with Facebook, when it comes to advertising cannabis products on Facebook, it's completely against Facebook's terms of service. It's against their policy. The same holds true to a degree on Twitter. And so finding these people through very specific ways of advertising on those platforms, it's actually impossible. So for that specific type of business, Facebook, in terms of advertising cannabis products, is completely ineffective. And if he heard somebody say, "Oh man, well, social media sucks when it comes to lead generation. Totally for sure Facebook sucks." Well, for cannabis related products, yeah, it does kind of suck. Specifically with the advertising aspect of that. But that's not true across the board. You really, really have to know where the people who who want what you have to sell, are hanging out. And then you need to be able to begin a conversation with them. So you can't be afraid to engage them. And yeah, there are plenty of social media platforms that host all types of different audiences, and they are absolutely effective when it comes to online traffic generation. Not online traffic generation. When it comes to lead generation. Okay, so that is about it for today. Actually, I wanna go back just a minute and talk about something else that entrepreneurs regularly they don't think about. They don't think about what type of clients or customers they want to work with. There's this idea in America and in the West specifically that I completely disagree with. And that idea is that the customer is always right, or the client is always right. That's just flat out wrong. Many times customers and clients are not educated about what is actually best for them and their business. And they have this idea, that has stuck in their mind. They heard somebody say something, and then they refuse to listen to people who have been there, done that, and actually have the experience. So the types of people that I enjoy working with, for example, are people who are action takers, people who are not afraid to move their businesses forward or to take a risk. By the way, risk taking is a great quality in an entrepreneur. You have to take a risk. You have to be able to take a leap of faith at some point. Yeah, it's true. If you don't know what you're doing, you can be the person jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire, and you're going to get burned. But at some point, no matter how much knowledge you've gathered, you have to take action. And then you are jumping out of the frying pan, But if you have enough knowledge, you're not going to get burned. Or you will minimize the burn, I also enjoy working with people who are not cheap on their road to success. There's a lot of people who, like I said, they want to scrape the bottom of the barrel and do just the minimum to get by. They're like, just like one of the people that I was talking to recently was just like, just tell me how to get leads, man. Just tell me how to get leads. Okay, well, the truth is, that's a discussion that is very specific to the type of business that you're in. And, just me throwing something off the top of my head is actually a disservice to you. It takes a much deeper, longer, lengthy conversation. It takes a back and forth where, you give me some real details on what you're doing, what you're not doing, and then we can discuss how you can go about getting leads in a more specific, more effective manner, right? So anyway, those are just some thoughts that I was having today, and that I hope actually serve you. So that is about it. I would like you to like this video, leave a comment below if there's anything that I said that you have thoughts about, and then share the video with anybody that you feel will benefit. Inside the group, if there's anything that's really pressing you, if there are areas in your business where you feel stuck and you really want to move your business forward now rather than later, go ahead and PM me and we'll schedule a call. That is it for today, and I will talk with you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye for now.